Hi April's family, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Let me take you through the process of how I made these blouse bodies with the stylish yoke. For more tutorials, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and comment. Thank you. I measured my shoulder line, which is 14 divided by 2. Then I came down by 1 from the shoulder line for the shoulder slope. I measured my neck width 3 inches, then the depth 3 inches. I slanted my shoulder slope from the neck width to the 1 inch I measured downward. Then I curved my neck area. I measured my armhole depth, which is 7.5 inches. I ruled out the armhole line. On the armhole line, I measured the shoulder again, which is 7 inches. I connected the 2 points together. To determine your armhole depth, you divide your bust by 6 plus 1.5. I divided my armhole depth into 2, which is 3.75. And I came in by 0.5 to determine my armhole cuff. And that's all for the armhole line and the armhole cuff. I measured my nipple to nipple points, which is 8 divided by 2, 4 inches. On the shoulder line, on the armhole line, I measured it on the armhole line down to the blouse length. I connected the dots together so as to determine my length measurements. I measured my shoulder to nipple 10.05, my shoulder to under bust 13.05, my shoulder to waist 16 inches, and I ruled out the lines. After ruling out the lines, I labeled my lines: the bust line, the under bust line, the waistline, and the blouse length or the hip line. To determine the neckline, I came up by 1 inch from the armhole line. Then I ruled it out. And labeled it my neckline.
On your under bust line, come in by 1 at the center front bodice. Repeat the same thing at the waistline and repeat the same thing at your hip line. Connect those lines together. Thereafter, on your under bust line, you also come in by 1 at the side front bodice. Connect those lines together like you did earlier. On your bust line, you come down by 1 inch to avoid your nipple to nipple area being pointy. Cuff it down to your under bust line like so. And repeat the same thing at the other side. On your neckline, at the nipple to nipple line, you come out by 0.5. Connect the line to your bust line. Then you come out by 1 inch. And connect the line to your bust line. I measured the first line. There I have 3.5, and the other line I have 3.25. So I added to it to make it 3.5 so as to avoid shortage
when I'm joining both sides together. Then I curved in my neckline. You can actually go in as deep as you want, but I wanted mine to be like that. So I measured the down curve of the bust line to the under bust for me to be sure both curves are accurate. And both lines must be accurate to avoid shortage and to avoid you dragging it while sewing. So I transferred the 1 inch space I have here to create my new armhole curve to avoid shortage. The bust measurement is 38. I used 20 for the front bust measurement. 20 divided by 2 will give us 10. Then I'll use 18 inches for the back bust measurement because the front bust measurement is bigger than the back bust measurement. My under bust measurement is 30. 30 divided by 4 is 7.5 plus the 2 inches that we have, that will give us 9.5. My waistline is 28 divided by 4, 7 plus 2 inches that allowance, that will give us 9. My hip measurement is 36 divided by 4, 8 plus the 2 inches that allowance, that will give us 10. After marking the 10, I connected those lines together to form the blouse bodice. On my bust line, I came down by 1.5 inches to mark out my side darts, and I connected it slantly to the nipple to nipple point. And I clearly traced out our drafting. And I secured my pattern paper with pins so as to enable the cutting. And here I cut out my pattern paper. I carefully placed my center front piece on the side front piece. And I secured it with my paper tape so as to enable me draw out the down curve. From the blouse length or the hip line, I came up by 2.5 inches. And I cuffed it out like so. On the bodice line at the hip line, I came out by 1.5 inches so as to extend my hip measurement. I extended the curve to the 1.5 inches I measured, and I connected it from my waistline to my new hip line. I traced it out so it can show clearly, and I cut out the down curve. After cutting out the down curve, I removed the paper tape, then set my center front piece aside, and I cut out the whole bodice I have drafted. I set the center front bodice and the yoke aside. Then I cut out the slants for the side darts like so. After cutting it out, I secured it with my paper tape. And I reconnected the line. And I cut it out. The front bodice patterns are ready. I set those aside and I worked on the stylish yoke. I ruled out this side slantly, and I also ruled out the other side slantly. I then placed my pattern paper to create the new yoke I wanted. I secured it with pins, flipped it to the other side, then I cut it out. I placed another pattern paper on the other side of the yoke. I secured it, flipped it to the other side, and I cut it out. And yeah, the whole of our front bodies are ready. For the back bodies, I marked 1.5 inches for the zipper allowance all through to my blouse length. And I ruled it out. I measured my shoulder to shoulder measurement, which is 7 inches. Came down with 1 inch for the shoulder slope. Marked out my neck with 3 inches. Then I slanted the shoulder slope. I marked out my armhole depth, which is 7.5. To get your armhole depth, you divide your bust by 6, then add 1.5 inches. And I ruled out my armhole line. I measured my shoulder measurement, which is 7 inches. I connected those dots together. And I labeled it armhole line. I placed my curve ruler to curve out my armhole. For the back armhole curve, you don't have to go in by 0.5 inch because the back armhole does not have that depth. So you just have to curve it out like so. And I measured my nipple to nipple points for the back bodies so as to know where to place my tape rope while measuring the half length for the back bodies. Our half length for the back bodies is 14.5 because we deducted the 1.5 inches for side darts. For the front half length we have 16, while for the back we have 14.5. We deducted the 1.5 inches for the side darts and we labeled it waistline. I measured the back blouse length, which is 22.5 because we have deducted the 1.5 side darts allowance. So we have 22.5 for the back blouse length. I ruled it out and I labeled it blouse length or hip line. I measured the nipple to nipple point so as to form our dart leg for the back bodies, and I connected the points together. I came in by 0.5 on both sides. Then I measured 10.5 from the top of the blouse. I connected it to the waistline.
and measured 9 inches for the dart leg, and I also connected it like so. I measured the depth of the back neck and I curved it out like so. And I entered my back bust measurements: 9 inches for the waist. We have 8 inches plus the dart allowance, then same as the hip line, and I connected those points together. From my armhole line, I came up by 1 inch, then I measured 4 inches from that point. I connected both points together. And I curved it out with my ruler like so. I measured 2 inches for my loop width. Then I connected those lines together. I came up by 2.5 inches at the hip line, like we did to the front bodice. Then I labeled my zipper allowance so as to be clear about it. I secured my pattern paper with pins. And I traced the lines out with my marker. On the new hip line, I came out by 1.5 inches. Then I placed my front side bodies on it for me to be sure the points and the curves are accurate. I traced it out with my front side bodies on the side and also at the down part. And I curved it out so well using my marker. I also dotted the eyelet channels and I cut out my drafted pattern. And here our back blouse bodies are ready.